Hello there. So, Crash Live 2025. On the Sunday, the Spectrum Next team gave a second talk, and it was assumed that the second talk would be the same as the first, possibly why it wasn't recorded. And when we went in there, I saw there was no recording facility set up, so I got up on stage with Phoebus and Henrique, held my iPhone basically at arm's length to try and record them, a bit like that for an hour. Shaky hand, sore hand, I switched off and on periodically, so it's not brilliantly edited. There are bits kind of cut off, but I thought I'll put it out there so people can see some of the stuff that was talked about on Sunday. Cheers.
So this is in real time. It's probably a bit slower than on the Next itself, but there's also
It's the Muppet Show, yeah!
no color clash, right?
Ooh.
So this is a
If you don't
few
have an orgasm, stop it. Stop it right now.
a few cubes, a whole cobra. Oh, this will make it go slightly faster. Is all already clipping and double buffering and etc. So you can start making your space game. There is already. I don't know how to go back.
You have to turn. I don't know if you remember.
I don't. So, but it has collision, it has clipping, so everything is ready to use. And Dean will be very happy if people start using it, so he can actually start debugging. So come next week, I will start building a game on it, and I know a couple of other people will start toying with it. But it is great that the Next can now do this, right? And I wish we had the presence of mind to have brought it the gun. Oh my
Ray
God.
gun, yes.
Ray gun. We using the accelerator to kind of do all the mathematics and all the positioning for the sprites, because that's really impressive and opens up a whole new level. But it's nice to see the Next doing 3D things for the first time.
We've done 3D things in basic.
Yeah, I know.
Something like more real time at least.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I appreciate that work needs to be done on the SpecNext site when it comes to the Spectrum cores. We're about to come to a situation where we have a whole load of other cores. At the moment, I can't even log a bug on the QL core. There isn't anywhere I can do that. Now that's really quite well supported by not only having somewhere I can put it in terms of the source, but also by having Gary actually reading it. Are we going to have something like that for the Commodore 64, the Amstrad CPC? ZX81.
Yes, everything that's gonna be all the documentation is gonna be in one place.
And will somebody read it when we put the bug in?
Yes,
Good.
obviously.
But the course will go on GitHub as well, right?
Yes, they'll go also on GitLab. So we have everything on GitLab.
Right.
So it's stupid to
That
separate.
system works well, better than a wiki would for putting bugs.
And Wiki is it's nice when you have established information and people that actually know what they're doing. But on the Wiki, we use people that really need to help but do not really know the subject. It gets a little bit chaotic afterwards.
Right.
Yeah. So GitLab is much better because it's run by the person that actually writes the stuff.
But also anybody who's not reasonably competent can't work it out to talk.
Self-filtering.
Yes. Security by obscurity in a way. Yeah. By complexity, actually. But anyway.
How hard can it be when you've got that to do ZX80 as well?
It's included.
Really used to it.
It's included.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the both of them come hand in hand.
They
Yeah.
go. It's single core. Okay. We have an agreement with Paul Farrow for the Chroma and the Spectra. Obviously, all these machines are basically the same machine, and they work on the ZX80 and the ZX81. And we have an agreement for the ZX Expand. Let me say it properly. ZX Plus. So all the new developments that exist on the ZX80 and the ZX81, plus the stuff from the venerable Wolf Richter site that things that were doubling the speed for the ZX80 and the ZX81, they'll be there, included in the core. And Alan that writes it, as everybody knows, fairly competent and understands very well the ZX81 because he started with TS1000, which is the American equivalent of the ZX81. And hopefully we'll get to the TS2068 as well, within a reasonable amount of time, and we'll have a full range of Z80 powered cores that are Sinclair oriented, which is, exactly what we promised on the Kickstarter. It might not get they might not all together appear together at the same time, but they will appear. So, the ZX81 and the ZX80, though, they're one single core.
Under 300?
Huh? It's just, you just change the ROM, find the ROM, and it will be there.
Any plans on increasing color depth of the palettes?
All right, now that's a quirky question.
Well, there are two answers to that.
Yes and no.
Yes.
The hardware can do it. The hardware could do it before. Not on a VGA output, but they could do it on the HDMI. HDMI can do 32-bit, basically. Okay? We can do 12-bit easily. We have test cores to do that. But the problem is, it's not a problem, basically. It's our commitment that all the next cores will be always compatible with each other. So we gave the extra bit depth on the VGA this time around, on the KS3, because other cores will need it, or might need it. So if you can't, say for example, someone wants to do an Amiga, you can't reasonably do an Amiga without the ability to display 4096 colors. So it's there. The next core won't support it unless there is consensus that everybody agrees that if you want to have more colors on the next mode, it's going to be available only on HDMI. And we're not there yet. So for now, assume there won't be any more bit depth on an X core. Like 512 colors is the most you're going to see. Okay? And it's easy not to, I don't want to build an expectation. It's a very touchy subject when it comes to the next core, because not everything can be done using the SLX16 FPGA. It has quirks, especially with the clocks, that makes HDMI implementation very difficult. And colors on VGA, it's physically impossible unless you add lines to the FPGA, reprogram the FPGA, change the top. You can't do it on a KS1 or KS2.
So let me translate that for some of the people.
You can't do that.
Yeah, on KS1 and 2, you can get far more colors on HDMI, but not on VGA, right? KS3, we improved the VGA output, so you could have on both. The question is, what do we do backporting so people who use VGA will be left out of it, etc. So the next core, the main core, the next personality, if you wish, remains as is. But when there are cores more advanced, like the QL, etc., that can make use of more colors, on KS3, they will make it. On KS1 and 2, it runs, but it runs on modes that are less colors, unless you are on HDMI. So we're trying to satisfy as many people as possible.
A good example for the QL core is like you run the 65,000 color mode that the QL core can do on KS2, and you plug it in on a VGA monitor, you can only see 512. It cuts it off. You don't want to see that because it's not what you designed something. And you can force someone to use an HDMI display. They might not want to. We have options. Like you want to use an analog monitor, it's there. You want to use a VGA, it's like an analog, like classic monitor with a SCART input. You want to use VGA monitor, you can. You want to use an HDMI monitor, you can. You have to have access to all three. I can't force you.
Do you think there'll be another Kickstarter after this?
Oh, good question. The boilerplate answer.
I know that last year you said you were handing it over to the community, and that's
Well, let me do a poll of you. Do you want a Kickstarter for it?
absolutely.
No, not just you. Everyone here. You answer. By show of hands, you answer. You want a Kickstarter for it? See, it's iffy. Not everyone has his hand up.
No, what we usually
The question is, what is our share of desktop computers right now?
What?
Share of desktop computers. So there's still a market to conquer.
Yes, exactly.
Throw them away.
Well, Linux has broken 3% in games just last month, right? I wonder where we are now. But the boiler answer is always like we only talk about the next Kickstarter once the current one is fulfilled, right? So we don't spread ourselves too thin. Tell you a quick story. When we had the discussion, should we do the third one? My expectation was, maybe it will be as big as the first. And Chris Hill, who was here yesterday, he's not here anymore. He made a bet with me. They said, you're gonna do bigger than the second, and I have this Mint ZX Spectrum I'm gonna give you if you do it, and I have a Mint ZX Spectrum at home. So it was very surprising. I did not expect that.
You didn't.
I didn't. No,
I did.
I know.
Yeah, you're the only one who did.
Yes, well, not only Chris was too, but the thing is,
yeah.
I knew it because I know people, I understand them, and I understand what they want, and they wanted a Spectrum Next. It takes levels. It needs to build up trust. KS1 was about trust. To be that these people who you don't know can actually deliver something that works, first of all, and second, deliver it. The second Kickstarter was, okay, will they take it up at one notch? And despite everything that happened, because I'm pretty sure that every time we have a Kickstarter, something breaks out, war, famine, I don't know, the aliens will come next.
COVID, yeah.
And, every time that something happens, but can we do it again? And we did. It built more trust. And since we built the trust, the people that were actually not on the version one, the complete fanatics, but they want to do it because they are still Spectrum users, and they enjoy the games, and they enjoy the feel of being young again in a way, because it's something we want to relive at every stage of our life. They were ready to commit. I'm willing to bet anything, and I'm saying it right now. And if we ever did a Kickstarter 4, we'd double whatever we did this time. I'll bet you anything. Are we ready for this yet? Not quite certain. Okay, we're not that certain, but it depends on how well things go from here on, because it has to do with development, it has to do with game availability. We're discussing with a friend right now that basically, there are like 250 games coming from the Spectrum every year, more than 250 games.
No, for the Spectrum.
From the Spectrum, yes. Well, if this translates to a Next, yes, I would say yesterday, I would tell you, yeah, without my eyes closed, let's do a fourth one once we deliver. It's very easy to do because there is still an audience. You can see outside, there is the Spectrum, for example. People buy this. There's the 1200. People buy this. The Vectrex.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of new stuff. That's all, the new old stuff that comes out, and there's still clientele for this. So you people are interested.
So the main key is this is happening in part because of the Next, right? And it's like it injected a new fresh air into the ecosystem. So that is what we have to keep on doing. If the Kickstarter 4 helps that to happen, more developers coming on board, more games being made, more events, more opportunities for us to gather together, that's the spark we need to do it, essentially.
It's not that we don't want to, we do. Okay? We're in this for the long run. We didn't come in to just build one Spectrum and leave. We love this thing. Obviously, you can tell. We live, breathe, and sleep and eat ZX Spectrum Next. It's 95 of our time every day is taken up with this. Like, we have day jobs, and between like meetings, Henrique texts me, we have to call this and do this. Did you talk to the Chinese? Yes, we talked this. We're constantly involved in this because we love it, and we love it as much as you do, I think, and we love it that you love it. So we're in it for the long run. So if you guys want it, we'll bring it to you. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, this was a quick technical one. Following up on the VGA HDMI discussion, I just wanted to clarify. You said if you run a high color image or high color app on an older Kickstarter Next, it would cut off the palette. Does that mean it will just do some sort of like
it clips.
Or is
It clips.
Gonna look completely wrong?
It clips. It's wrong.
Okay,
Throws away the low order bits.
okay. And it drops the low order bits. Well,
Yes,
that would
that's
mean
right.
it still
It's
looks
only an
reasonably.
issue on the QL.
It looks kind of decent.
Okay.
Kinda.
Yeah, but just remember, like all these OSs and systems, they can operate at lower palettes anyway.
You bought an ST.
Shots fired.
How difficult was it to make the ZX Spectrum
Like everything that's worth it, it might be difficult, but it's also rewarding. So it involves a lot of things. Just like, anything that's worth it. It takes little few details or many details to put together. It's a complex thing. It's complicated, but once you see somebody like you ask a question about it, it's super easy to do, and it makes us feel very good. So it's all worth it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, who's next?
So for the KS3, you're doubling the memory, the RAM.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make sure you haven't forgotten to add a 9-bit to your MMU pages so that we can select it all.
No. That's not going to happen. And that's not going to happen because if we do that and somebody else uses it, then it stops being compatible with the older Next. That's why we're not going to use it. Unless we find a way to give you 4 megs on older Next. If there are a few ways around it, we thought of them, and we're not sure if we can do them. A reasonable cost and a reasonable complexity for regular users to create. If there are ideas, as long as these ideas cannot be implemented on a KS2 and a KS1, the KS3 will never, ever see more than 2 megs of memory when it's next mode.
Does anyone even use 2 megs yet?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
What's that for?
For everything.
So that's one
Not
person
only him.
in 7 or 8 years, 1 or 2 people using it.
Even next day,
So-
also uses it.
No one would ever need more than 2 meg. Said Bill Gates.
Nobody will ever need more than 640K.
Yeah.
I'm kind of embarrassed about this because you've all had lovely, delightful technical questions and discussions there. I've got 2 questions. One hopefully is a very quick one, which is, are you accepting sort of ideas or thoughts for the space game from the Kickstarter?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we
Are
do.
you?
Yes, because I'm starting this week. Come Monday, I will start work on it, and I will put a GitHub page. GitHub, not GitLab. I use GitHub. Live with that. I'll put like no. I do. Ideas are always
When it's
welcome,
done, though,
right?
he's going to be posted on GitLab.
Yeah,
I don't care what he does.
It has to be rolled in with the rest. But one of the things I champion on most of the companies I worked on, day jobs and things like that, is what I call open development. And they have been very successful because the games they make are developed with the audience from day one. And I'm very much of a champion of that approach. So I'll be opening up the repository and even the design documents very early on to collect ideas and perspectives and putting the builds out there as soon as they are runnable.
Oh, cool. I mean, there's just a couple of things I'd like to see in a game beyond just flying around and shooting. So, happy days.
Trading, maybe? Mining asteroids? Piracy?
Witch space.
Yes, Commander.
Argoids.
Put something together coherently. The second one was, how was your experience of KS3 so far compared to KS1 and KS2, where you had like chip cancellations at short notice and
Yeah,
mold
chip
issues
shortage.
coming back? and things like that.
COVID.
Has PS3 been smoother because you've
We've prepared for it. Nothing is ever
Well,
smooth.
yeah, but the thing is, the second we said it's being very smooth, something terrible is going to happen. It's being very difficult. Oh my God, harder than the first two combined.
I will answer
Leave it at
with
that.
2 words. 2 words only. Donald Trump.
Well, yeah,
that is disruptive.
it's a bit disruptive on
Of China, for example, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna get stuff. There are people that we're worried about how we're gonna deliver to them because of tariffs. It's freaking complicated. Yes, it is. If it's not the one thing, it's the second thing, you know. But we don't care anyway. We try to do our due diligence, and that's the best and most reasonable thing to do. We learn from the past. We learn from the things that happened. We took a measured approach, and I have to thank Mike for this because his experience, which was very stressful, taught us a lot. And you know, you stand on the shoulders of giants when you do that.
Yeah.
And it helps immensely the experience he gained, and we all gained through him on how to do certain things. So the ending result is, and looks at least, smoother. And at least we know more what to anticipate. Things you know to anticipate, even when they happen, if you are familiar with them, they're not that scary.
we did some of front loading as well.
Yeah.
We just about to get the test boards done, so we can test them and do the green light for production. But we knew that the FPGA wouldn't change, right? Regardless of the result of the test boards, the FPGA is that one. So we bought them already as soon as the Kickstarter wrapped, right? So some of the things that we know are there. We already ordered the parts and they are in stock already on the factory and whatnot. So we are trying to accelerate.
Think ahead, yes.
Think ahead, just because we don't know what's going to happen next, right? But so far, there are some disruptions on tax and disruptions on logistics, but it's not something that we cannot deal with. Phoebus already has a route where we can bring the next from China into Europe by train, should the Gulf of Aden becomes too kind of rockety. So,
It should be. Somebody told us that the Houthi are planning a new game of booty, so we're preparing for that.
so there are those things that, right? So we also do geopolitics. So if maybe we should start a party.
Maybe we should start putting you in charge of everything. So, everyone in favor of Henrique being the emperor of the world, please vote.
Thank you.
Yes, master.
By the way, just thanks for creating this whole ecosystem of the next, and that, you know, generation after generation has more and more developers. And I've talked to another one here, but that was really easy to build stuff, and I had an idea for something I want to write as well. Anyway, the question is, with all these new developers and all looking to sell their wares,
Yeah.
when are we getting an app store?
Oh,
That's a good question. It's complicated to answer
I know, but
for many reasons. First of all, the App Store is very restrictive. If you think about it, I mean, we don't have the problems that the Apple has or Google has. I mean, we don't want to problems. We don't want to secure anything because it's a freaking next. It won't take your personal data. It won't steal your credit card. It won't track your movements. It could, but it won't. We made sure of that.
You looked at the source code for dot spray, have we checked it?
Yes, I have. The Wi-Fi driver, it says send everything to timgilbers.com. Yes. The thing is, though, this part is not required. Now, if people, for the digital part, want to have an app store per se, we have several publishers. We're going to be older. One of them is me, like as Wasp Games. We are Spectrum programmers. And another one is Chris Wilkins with Fusion Retro Books. And SpecNext also does its own. So, you know, we have the ability. We can force anyone to select a different route. The developers have to shop around, basically, and see which... Well, but we have TechnoShed, let's not forget. we have the ability to shop around and as a developer and decide which deal is best for you. Nobody's going to force you. The only thing that we can force you to, and will absolutely force you to, is to not distribute the basic distro, the System Next, with your game unless it's a physical copy. That's the only restriction and requirement we have, because it's a IP rights thing, and we need to be very, very protective of that. Because we've done excellent so far, so we don't want to screw this up.
I just like to make it easier for new users.
We have Get It. This thing, we have Get It by David Sapphire. Get It can get you anything that's free.
Yeah.
You don't need an app store.
But what about pay? Yeah.
So there is a plan. I think he's trying to work out like a back end for like possibly.
Yeah, you can do something that actually would connect with Get It. It has to be built first.
Yeah.
But you can, again, as I said, you can all use the back end that Get It will have on for purchasing things. But it's not going to be forced upon you that you're only going to use. Get It can talk to every provider of Next games, even if it's 1 or 500. Okay, so the thoughts are there. It's going to be easy because it is already easy. It is already very easy to do so. Okay, but you can't again go back to this, and we can't force anyone. We're not, and we don't want to be the known paradigm at this time.
Yeah, that is a fine line between if we do it and make it very accessible, we are the only ones who will actually be serving that function, right? And then we are curbing other people's.
Depends on how you implement.
Yeah, I know. There are different ways of doing it, right?
It is the seesaw between ease of use versus the flexibility.
Yes, but we don't want to be Apple's App Store or Google's App Store.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Which is now closing side loading and all that shenanigans, and it's so that. But perhaps we can do it differently. We do kind of almost like a white label that Chris can go and set up his own, like.
And then Get It will connect. Because Get It, I think, is
because the back end is there.
Yeah, the back end is there, and I know David is updating it. And I think he's going to be putting, I think I discussed it with him. He wants to put screenshots on. So you can actually select any kind of app store if that's what you're meaning.
Get It's good for like linking to developers. You've got a demo of the game. Jesus.
Get It space. Get It itself is good for like developers who want to get into like just sharing their stuff, and then if you can put links on it to say, if you like this, here's my website, go on there, or here's the publisher. So it's like a.
There is more to it than this.
It's much more to it than that, yeah. But
one of the things that we do have on Get It, and I've discussed it with David, is our way to distribute for old Kickstarters the licenses for the C64 ROMs. They're going to be distributed through Get It. He'll connect to us. We hold the licenses, and there is a back end that he has worked already on it. It's not a purchase per se, but there is a token which has a value. So basically, if you're starting with this, then you can actually do charging of some sort. But there is a token exchange that guarantees that you are the rightful owner of that ROM, and it doesn't go to somebody else.
Seems to me like a project we need to prioritize. Go next.
Well, you're trying to support all these artists. And should get something free. We all love free.
I'll make a note of that.
This is once a year, and maybe people would like to sell. And make that easier. So that's all. So thanks. Good call.
That's why we get shows.
Did you know as well there's somebody on? Right. Did you not?
Tell me! Can't hear you!
There's a page on itch.io that has gathered together every single Spectrum Next that you can find on itch.io. So I'd encourage you to seek that page out. I've got the link. I haven't got it in my head, but
it's on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's on the Kickstarter. Yeah,
yes.
Really dip into that because he has made a real effort to, and there's a spreadsheet that gathers everything that's ever been produced. Because we're already in a stage where stuff's starting to archive out.
Any plans to maybe buy Commodore?
that ship has sailed.
Just quickly going back to the joke about buying Commodore. The idea that got floated yesterday for us to reach out to Perifractic and his team and get the next core to run on the Commodore Ultimate. That's a very good idea because it expands the next reach, etc. So why not, right? We run Commodores, why don't they run the next? So we're going to reach out and talk about it as soon as we wrap up here.
I never had a Commodore.
Me neither.
But I wanted to try it with the core of the next. What I want to be able to do that I can do with the Commodore 64 Ultimate.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah. The keyboard, of course,
It's not a Commodore keyboard.
is not a Commodore keyboard, so you will have to kind of do some key combinations, right? But in terms of capability and what it does, all of it. So emulates disk drives, emulates cartridges, and runs the Commodore at full speed. Likely will run Commodore at a higher speed that is not implemented yet, but it's something that we are probably thinking about. Theo, right?
Here's Theo. He doesn't like that answer. Okay.
But nothing.
Works late.
Really. It should it already 100% compatible, runs everything, and it has support for both disk and cartridges and joysticks and things like that. So every game you can play already.
When you sort out the dumpster fire of a website,
Yes.
there's going to be more documentation there. What you include, say, aspects of Next Basic for dummies. For instance, I'm trying to write one on tiling at the moment because I had dreadful trouble with that in the KS1 manual. But I've figured it out now, and I have to explain it. There's going to be sprites for dummies, including sprite continue and how to make that. Also, things like installing. I know there's big drama on this one. Getting to C-Spec to run for dummies. Getting MAME to run for dummies. I've touched MAME in.
I will answer the last part. Just the last part for now. C-Spec for dummies. C-Spec is an application that's not made by us. It's an invaluable tool. Invaluable. And we can include some information on how to run it, but it cannot be the documentation because it's not the next. It's an external application that does something. Same with,
It's just Mike Daly's development.
It's Mike Daly's development tool, and he has his own, after what happened, he has a special page that explains what you can, what you cannot do with it. Okay, this is not the next. If you're interested in development, then the information is there. We're going to include some stuff on how to connect it, but not, this website is not a place for documentation of C-Spec. It's like documenting how joysticks work.
Yeah, but that said, a lot of the stuff on the next, aside from the basic, which is well documented on the manual, right? Where I find the tool for sprite editing, what is the sprite mode,
that will be there, yes.
Yes, but there are other things which are very complicated because you don't have the information. Once you do have the information, they become rather simple. A good example is the C compilers 8080DK, Z8080DK, right? There's so many ways you can compile and do like that. I was lost for months until I understood how it works, and once I did, it was very quick. So those tutorials,
that will be there, yes.
We have to produce some of them, and we'll try to do all of it on the website. Like branch, I want to start in basic, this. I want to compile in basic, Boreal. I want to use C on the next. There is the TZ, what's it called? ZXM, the compiler.
No, GCC.
Yeah, is here. Or if I want to use Z80DK here, assembly here, and step by step.
Tutorial is different than actually providing documentation for
Yeah,
Boreal.
but we need tutorials.
We have a tutorial, for example, that I wrote for how to use Pipsta. Pipsta is a small Wi-Fi printer, like for receipts, a POS printer, and not a piece of shit. Point of sale. You can connect to the next and use the driver to print through Wi-Fi using Gary Lancaster's driver. I have that tutorial written already. I'll put it up. This might be not part of the next, like the printer, but there is a tutorial for it. The for dummies part should be there, like the how to do this, how to start a game, how to write the next register, how to go back to 48K basic, and what to do, how to type on this. If you don't know, you've only seen the next, and suddenly you want to go back in, back to the past, and use the letters. It explains how to read the keyboard for you. That's a small tutorial. Will be there.
Yeah.
Tutorials is probably what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if that's yes, it's going to be there.
Maybe a bit of a special interest, thinking about the QL core. There are German versions of the QL also out there. How
It's,
can you emulate that stuff with a...
You don't need to emulate anything. You change the ROM, you put a German ROM in, it works. It already works.
Yeah. How to access these special keys then?
It's exactly as they were in the QL, the German QL. If you want, the documentation exists on the internet, but it's something that we haven't considered. I will think about it and just post something how you can change. How would you give an example how you can change keyboard, not drivers, but it's not a key map per se, but how you use a German version of the ROM. Because the QL came with specific versions of ROM. Of course, I'm not going to use the German one. I'm going to use the Greek one because, hey, hello. But it's a good idea, and I will actually put it in. Yeah.
I got a question from young gentleman.
Yes.
When ports of games today for the old ZX Spectrum Next, would it work with the new one?
Yes. Yes, all the games from the original Next run on the new one, and all the games from
The
the
new
original...
one? Well, the new one run no.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the original Spectrum. I thought the Spectrum Next. You said right?
Yeah, but every game from every one of them runs on each other.
Yeah.
So all the games from the ZX Spectrum run on the Next old and the new Next, and all the games that are being made for the Next today run on the old Spectrum Next. We call them KS1, KS2, and KS3. So all the games that run on all of them. The only restriction we have seen to date was the first time we saw it, is a game that requires the accelerator board that not every Next has.
But it will be sold like this.
But it's also known as a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, but you can add it to your Next.
Also, not all KS1s have 2 megabytes of RAM.
But
No one uses 2 megabytes.
yeah, I've never seen a game require 2 megs.
Apart from you.
Apart from you.
Yeah.
And Kevin.
And Kevin. That's not finished yet. It doesn't count.
Ice World.
Yeah.
If you had like 8, you would use them.
Anyone got any other questions?
No. I got asked the obvious one.
I was waiting for that actually. I think I know what you're going to ask.
Could the next, when you select a file, say loaded file, if it's in the wrong ROM or whatever, say you find a ZX81 game, as I've been playing around with the E spectrums, the SP spectrum, I should say, could it sort of find, think, hang on, that's still 128, or let's say,
Launch the core
format, and it suddenly jumps ROM to.
It really does that, yes.
Does it? Oh,
we have the core command. It's not. Some things need to be written on and make it a little bit more expansive. This is written by Alan, that wrote the core, and actually written the way that we switch ROMs and cores. You can load a file, put in memory, okay, give the proper instructions to the core, and the core with switch. It's the switch is pretty much instantaneous. As I was explaining yesterday, when the core boots, like when you start your Next. There are 2 core changes that happen right before your eyes. You never even notice it happened. It's a regular core, Spectrum core, that doesn't know anything about the Next. It loads the configuration file. It reprograms the FPGA where it needs to, puts in a config mode, and then switches over to the Next. And that happens without you even noticing. So the changeover can be instantaneous, and the browser is made in such a way that things you can instruct dot commands to launch other programs. And since a .p, for example, it's right now launches the emulation mode of the Next, and tomorrow it's going to load the ZX81 core. It's super easy to do that. You can actually, if you press a WAV file, it will launch .play WAV and the name of the file. It's exactly the same thing with the core. .core, you know what the .p means. Quote ZX81. It's programmed inside the browser configuration, and you can actually you make your own core. You can do the same thing with file. Of course, there is a small problem when you have games or programs that are named the same across platforms. Say, for example, .o, .p, and then you have D64, but you have other D64s. You can, for example, .dsk might be a QL disk, a SAM disk, or a +3 disk. So you need to do a renaming there because it reads the extension. But other than that, which is I think something very easily solvable.
Congratulations on the Spectrum Next. It looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Does. I said that the first time I saw it. It sort of goes off the back of his question, really. How did you actually come to the actual design of it and still staying true to the original?
What do you mean?
Well, it kind of started.
Its actual looks.
Yes.
How did you actually brainstorm?
It was like the 48 Plus, wasn't it? The 128 Plus was kind of the start of
Yeah.
inspiration.
Actually, we had Rick and Phil created 3 designs. One of them was very much inspired on the original Spectrum, almost like rubber keyed to some extent. There was a second one was very big, and the third one, which is the one that we went with, which had this accent and inspiration on the plus, but we could implement the keyboard with new mechanisms, right? That is more comfortable and has more bandwidth. You can type very fast. So that's why we went for it.
And then I have to go back to the drawing board and do further changes and further produce further copies of the board with the changes to see if they work. Once this is done, it takes about 2 weeks for the entire production thing to go. And then the biggest problem of all is the shipping from China to here. Okay, we've done, as I said, and as Henrique said, our due diligence. We've identified and gotten prices on additional routes, not just by boat, but also by plane and by train, even going through Mongolia, believe it or not. They're going to do deep throat singing.
No automobiles though.
Huh?
No automobiles then.
No.
Planes, trains.
Yaks, we'll have yaks coming together, whoever wins them.
That's good.
But that could actually take a long time. So we still aiming for the very end of 2025. It might go higher. I cannot, in all honesty, tell you what's going to happen yet because we don't know it. The only thing we do, and we try to do it a lot more this time, is to give you regular updates on where we stand through Kickstarter, obviously. Because last time we were a little bit neglecting to do that because we were too damn busy to try to get that thing out. This time around, we're going to tell you exactly when we have a change, and every time we did have a change, we informed you, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're still aiming for the end of 2025. It might go further, but it's not going to be too damn late. Okay, we did a really good job, and we didn't change the board too much, just changing the FPGA and adding the memory. And fixing a couple of things we identified. Actually, Michael identified it's his fault. It is his fault. Yeah. What? The power bank.
One thing.
Yeah. You know how much they charged us for that?
Yeah. Or try to.
Try to. Well, Henrique saved us. But the thing is, we did the few changes, even though they were needed, just so we wouldn't have to test the entire damn thing. And if you don't test the entire thing in every single aspect of it, because the other things were already tested, we would be able to move to production quickly. And that's where we stand right now. I cannot honestly answer if it's going to get delayed.
Yeah.
But we should, if all goes well, we get the boards in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
We test them for a couple of weeks.
And who's going to test them, really?
Well,
Tim. So if Tim is late, you can blame him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
So Phoebus,
yes,
you take this purple magenta next with you wherever you go, don't you? Yes,
I do because
it's precious.
It's precious. It's my precious.
Yeah.
It's mine. It's mine. I tell you, mine.